Hello, grade 11s. Okay, so we're continuing these kind of backup videos of the examples in the workbook. So coming up is compound interest. So in compound interest, the difference between compound and simple interest is that you earn interest on the money as well as the interest. So in class we spoke about you have 100 Rand and you got 10% per annum in simple interest and compound interest. 1 year later, you've got 110 Rand, right? You got your 10% on 100 Rand. But on compound interest, let's say that you're compounding annually, so every year. In the second year, you earn interest on the 110 Rand. Whereas in simple interest, you're just earning it on that original 100 Rand. Okay, so let's have a look. And this is, whenever you invest money, this is how we use compound interest. Okay, so we've got very similar formula, but now our n, our number of compounding periods, is in the exponent. So A, still the accumulated amount. P, still the principal amount, so the original amount. So the amount being invested or the amount being borrowed. And 1 plus I is the interest rate, and you'll see a little bit. In fact, let's go into it now. If you've got something like 8% per annum compounded monthly, then our interest rate, we say, is 0.08. We got used to turning our percentages into decimals. And then we're dividing by 12 because it's compounded monthly. So monthly means that we're doing it every 12. Okay, and then n isn't number of years. N is number of compounding periods. So in this case, we're going for 5 years, but we're going 5 years monthly, which means we've got 5 times 12, so that's why n is 60. Okay, and we're going to use this now, and we'll do it in our example, but keep an eye this time where you're looking at your compounded what? Monthly, quarterly, semi-annually, daily, etc., etc. So if you were given something like 11% per annum, compounded quarterly for 5 years, our interest is 0.11, that's 11%, but we look quarterly, so we divide it by 4, and our number of compounding periods, we'll just think if it's quarterly for 5 years, in the first year, there are 4 quarters. And in every single year, there are 4 quarters. So you got 4 times 5, there are 20 compounding periods. Okay, so I think let's run through our first example. We're investing 70,000 Rand. We're investing it quarterly for 3 years, and we want to know how much interest was earned. Okay, so we look here and we go, cool, we've got our formula, and we're going to be using it so often that we'll know it very much off by heart, even though it's on the front page. A equals P, 1 plus I to the N. Okay, now let's work through each bit. A, we don't know. That's what we're trying to see, how much is accumulated. Our principal amount, I think we said was, let's go here, 70,000 Rand. So we got 70,000 Rand. 1 plus our interest rate. Now our interest rate is 14% per annum. I'm just going to change that out to yellow. We've got 14% per annum. So we got 0.14, that's 14%. But now we need to see how often are we compounding it. So it says quarterly, which means that it's over 4. Quarterly is 4 quarters, we know that, okay? And then the final bit of the puzzle is to say, okay, we've got this for 3 years. So we're not going to do it to 3. We're doing it to 3 years, but it's each year's worth 4. So it's going to be to the power of 12. Now I suggest that we do write to the power of 12. Don't write 3 times 4 at the top here, because that's going to feel a little bit confusing. To have 3 times 4 up here, and no. We've got it there. So that bit we punch into our calculator, and we go ding, and what do we get? Well, we get 105,774 and 81 cents. Okay, and this, like the first example we had at the beginning of the workbook, wait a second, what are we trying to find out? Well, we're trying to find out the amount of interest earned, not just the final amount. Okay, so in this case, we've got our interest earned. Let's say what we're doing, interest earned, well, that's our 105,774.81. And we're subtracting, and moving out of the way, right? We're subtracting the original amount, 70,000, and into our calculator it goes, and we get 35,774.81. The calculator bit's quite convincing, like I'm doing it right. No. Okay, so there we go. That's our basic formula, how we apply it, and in the next one, which we'll do in the next video, we'll just look at doing it in 3 different ways. Well, not doing it in 3 different ways, 3 different questions where the compounding period changes. So quarterly, monthly, daily. Yeah, let's take it up when we get there.